Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mortgage Pro Talk. This is Deep Dive, where every week I dive deep with mortgage professionals and leaders discussing their journey to where they are now and what they've learned along the way. My name is Dan Cooley, and I'm excited to be joined by Fred Lahm, who is a branch manager and loan slayer at Princeton Mortgage. He's currently licensed in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Florida, and, of course, Virginia. Fred, how are you?
I'm swell. Yourself?
I'm doing awesome. I really am. I'm having a good day. I've set up my background. I'm trying to get a little bit more fancy instead of just like my dresser.
Dude, Guinness is the top 3 for me, by the way.
I feel like it has to be, out of respect. I honestly do. I think it's I also love it because, marketing guy, that's an old school ad right there.
Yep.
Do you know that the guy who created these also did the I want you for the U.S. government?
No, I didn't know that. Kind of looks like the same print.
Yep, and he also did Wizard of Oz. He did the Wizard of Oz, that famous poster. So
now, where do you find facts like that from?
Just wasting my time on the internet,
nice.
like most other people, just awesome. So, Fred, I really, really appreciate you coming here. First, let's just start with where were you born and raised?
Philly, dude. Philly, the only place.
Philly?
Philadelphia, yes.
That's awesome. No, I wasn't asking. What is in this Philly?
Yeah, Philadelphia.
No, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize. I didn't know if you were in Philly or outside in New Jersey or where you were located. So
no. Now we reside outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania still, but yeah. So Philly for life. Born there. I bleed green, bleed orange. That's the way it is.
That's awesome. I got my Embiid print up here. A fellow colleague of ours, Joe Pacula. I'll shout him out. He's awesome.
What's up, Joe?
It's so that's great. So you were born and raised there. Tell me about your childhood a little bit. Like what was it like? What was a young wee lad Fred running around Philly? What was he like?
I'm an only child. My parents got divorced when I was like 2. So I went to live with my pops and went to my mom's every weekend, and that's what we did things. My dad was involved in Philadelphia Mummers, which is a Philly traditional thing. So I grew up in that, learned to play music at a young age, and eventually went to college for that, by the way, for music. But
really?
We lived in the Kensington section with my grandmom. Kensington is coming back, they say, but Kensington got really, really, really bad. So we left there in like 1987 or something like that when people started getting shot around us. And I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia, and that's it. So I lived there until my wife and I moved in together and then bought a house here outside of Philly.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Not the Kensington part. That part's not cool.
It's coming back.
I hope it is. I hope it does. Good luck to it. I genuinely hope. And you say so music was a big part of your life. What instruments do you play?
Saxophone.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. And speaking of mummers, so it's funny, I had no idea what a mummer was until I met my wife. So my wife is from right outside of Philadelphia in Elkins Park, Cheltenham area.
Okay.
And so her cousin, so now my cousin, is a member of a string band.
What band?
As soon as I said it, I was like, why would I bring that up? I have no idea. Sorry, Emily, if you're listening to this. I love watching.
They're all
you.
listening.
I have no idea.
They're all listening.
Well, I hope they're all listening. But I do genuinely, as someone that was not raised with it, really genuinely enjoy it. Like right away, enjoy it. And shout out to Emily Butler. Not her last name anymore, but shout out to Emily Butler. Who introduced me to it. So that's very cool. Are you still part of a band?
So technically speaking, I'm still a member of Furco String Band. I just haven't been since we got married, had a kid. It takes up a lot of time. My dad's still in it. I miss hanging out with him and everything. But it's just it takes too much time. Focus more on my career over the last 5-6 years. So
sure.
Obviously, I should be able to balance a lot more, and maybe we'll get back there if it's still around. But I'm not active. But my last year going up the street, as they call it, which they don't go up the street, they go down the street now, was 2015. No, 2015 was my last year of doing that, but I was involved since 1991.
So I've definitely seen you on TV before I knew who you were. So that's kind of cool.
Dude, you could Google me. You can Google it,
I'm
you could do it YouTube and see some stuff. But yeah, it's a fun tradition. Unfortunately, it's kind of dying off. A lot of the music that's played by the mummers, the string bands, is kind of like older, early 1900s songs that come back. There's great tunes, but nobody wants to see that. Everybody wants to look at their phone. They want fast action. They don't want to like enjoy the parade anymore. And it's kind of like dying down. So it's
not to contradict. I genuinely hope you're wrong, and I hope that I am sure you do too. No, I think that's it's a very cool. It's like part of the. I don't know. I've really fallen in love with Philadelphia. As I met my wife, I started being in Philadelphia more, being around Philadelphia more, being around Philly sports, which is obviously it's like the blob. It starts pulling you in. I became a diehard Sixers fan in kind of the weirdest way, I think. Maybe not that weird, but my wife was pregnant with our first child, my son, who's now 3.5. But at the time, and I was running my own like small business. I was working at another place, so I'd be coming home late, and I was stressed out about you know that feeling when you're about to have like a kid for the first time, like your whole life is changing, and I'm sitting there at home and I'm like so stressed, and I'm flipping through, and all of a sudden like a Sixers game came on, and just like at first just the back and forth, like the running was like therapeutic. I kind of just zoned out, and then they start talking about it was right at the time when Joel really came back, and they're like, this guy, they said he might never play, and he the journey here. So I'm like, who's Joel Embiid? So I'm Googling, fell in love with the story of it, and but once you love one team, just like some kind of alien, it starts to.
It's just Philly sports. Like they're definitely 4-for-4, and they definitely, I grew up doing this, and sports for me now has taken a backseat. I still love sports, but being older now, focusing on other things, like I used to you had to watch the Flyers every night. This is what it was. Right. Like single Fred, unmarried, had my own house, doing whatever, growing up. It was just like 7 o'clock, 7:30. What time? It has to be on. Now it's just, if I see a game, I see maybe 20, 30 minutes of it, but you see the stats, still follow online and everything like that. But it's not a way of life anymore for me, just because I got older. And of course, over the last couple of years, it's been difficult to follow certain organizations and certain sports with their role in this United States, what's going on. Just play the sport. Your entertainment, just leave all that. And but I still follow everything. I'm still a hardcore fan. But yeah, Philly is definitely like you might not love all four sports, but you'll still support them.
Well, it's funny though, because it's like so I'm in the part of New Jersey that I think was more New York. If you're born and raised in New Jersey, you either pull south or pull north, depending on where you are.
Yep.
And so my dad, diehard Yankee fan, he passed away a couple years ago, diehard Giants fan. So I'll never be able to hate the Giants. I'll never be able to love the Eagles.
Yeah.
I'm in this limbo. And so
choice.
It's just funny. It's just funny. So I love the Sixers. That's what I stick with. I'm a Yankee fan. I think that allows me to still be a Philly fan because it's not like if I was Mets. So it's a little different.
Yeah, I appreciate the Yankees. Them. How can you not respect the Yankees?
But yeah, so it's just funny how that works. It's funny how Philly sports. That's something I noticed. It's just like it pulls you in. It really gets it.
And then we hate hardcore. We hate.
And then the hatred is real.
Jalen Hurts was the franchise quarterback 3 weeks ago, right? And it's they lose the playoff game, and then they're 50% of that goes, we need a new quarterback, and he's terrible, he can't throw, blah, 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 blah. So it's but it's entertainment. I gotta tell you, it's it thrives. If you can't thrive as a sportscaster or a sports business in this town, then you have to do something else in life, because it's just, you throw anything out there, like sports talk. We have 2 sports talk stations. They talk about the same stuff, but you go back and forth, and I switch, and I'm driving a car, here, and they go to commercial, I'm here. And it's just, you just bring up content and we can talk about everything. It's pretty interesting. So
it's awesome. It really is. It's been quite an experience diving in, and then And I know what you're talking about. I mean, it wasn't a year ago that I was having thorough conversations with people on Twitter going like, listen, you don't understand Ben Simmons, okay? And like what he brings to a team. And now I'm like, okay, I would take these
I'm not
players.
saying anything about that guy. Like if his mental capability is not there, if he's hurting there, that's, obviously that's something that should be addressed. Of course. But don't cry me a river because, you don't play hard and people are complaining because you're not playing hard. You're not, like,
well,
come on, man.
Off topic from the podcast, but what I will say is, like, obviously, the fact that he's coming out going like, I can't play for mental reasons until I get traded, and then I just need 2 weeks. Just need 2 weeks, guys. Get back into shape. I'm ready to go. It's disrespectful to people that are actually dealing with mental hardship.
And my wife actually talks about this. Like, she's like pro sports. Yes, we all get paid. They all get paid way too much money, right? And when you look at somebody that's a surgeon that's performing brain surgery on like children, and it's like that guy, like he just give them the money, that guy or girl, like give them the money, whatever they want. And then you see somebody like this on he's a basket case. He's all over the place. He wants the drama. His team loses, and the next day he's taking pictures and all happy and everything. Sitting by the pool. Like, no, we don't want to see that as sports fans, but he doesn't get that. But it comes down to like why they get paid so much, because you know what, Dan? It brings in money. So if you're
that's the thing.
If you're a business owner, if I'm Rich Weidel, right? And maybe not this much. If we were like big time.
I don't think if you and me were feuding on the internet, it would be like, this is good for business.
Yeah. No, but like if you had to weigh the good with the bad, but if you're a business like that, you have contracts set up. But if you draw the contract up and they come in and you sign them, and there's something in that contract that says you're done if A, B, or C happens. But it might be the wrong move, but you bring them in. Why? Because it's just going to flood the gates with money, and that's just what it is.
Going even bigger than that is it's funny the direction we went with this, but it's the league as a whole, right? So it's like, the NBA is more popular in the off season when they're trying to figure out free agency and stuff than it actually is during the season, like the games. And so it's just funny. It's like they know where it's at. Like they know what they're doing. And, speaking of I'm the king of segues. Speaking of crushing it, you had brought up that you're spending a lot of time on your business. You've been doing very, very well. Like, what has this journey been like for you over these last couple of years in the mortgage industry? This crazy market we've been through.
I think it's just been another step in my career, I guess. I mean, before coming to Princeton Mortgage, I was doing mortgages. This is like my 19th year, I think now, 18th to 19th. Wow. So before that, though, it was just geared to a different audience, I would say. And so actually I did a podcast like this about a year and a half ago, and I got called out on something, asked about somebody previous in my life, a branch manager, Stu. And I think it came off the wrong way because it came off maybe possibly that I wasn't grateful for it. But I was working with him for the first 80% of my career, and we were just geared towards something different, but that whole experience, him mainly taught me how to get things done, I would say. We had different personalities, but, I learned a lot from him. So like going from where we were in that point of a career and then coming here, like I always said, how do these people get so many loans with, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is impossible. And like, oh, they must have been given a gift. And, somebody probably just gave them deals. And really the answer was just creating relationships. As easy, as basic as that sounds, it's not easy. Sorry. But it is very, very basic. And not like fake relationships, but like, just meet more people and be on that track and just be a genuine person and things come back. So like it's been a journey from going like calling lists, calling leads, reaching out to old clients and sitting at a desk. I stand at a desk now. But like, just hitting the list rather than just like your business now, it mainly is relationships. I mean, work a lot, work up deals but even that client relationship, you're always working on that. that, and it just creates more business. So it definitely shifted.
What would you say about, like, what is it about you that lends itself to building those relationships? Because like you said, it's not easy. I think that was a great distinction. It's not easy, but it's basic. So it's not easy because it takes time, it takes effort, it takes going out there.
I'm not like smart. Like not like I'm not smart. Like I'm like I don't know what 2 + 2 means. But I'm not a brain surgeon. You know, I don't have the mental capacity to remember. I mean, I guess I could, but like reading, I struggle with reading. It's not because I can't read. It's just because, like, as I'm reading a paragraph, I'm thinking of other things. Maybe it's ADD, ADHD. I've never been diagnosed. But it's just, I just like to do things. And so for me to focus on one thing like that and just like not do anything, it's hard for me to retain. So like, I'm saying I'm not like a book genius, but
right.
I think what I bring to the table is that I can, I don't know. I mean, create that relationship, but then like just get people to trust me. And if people rely on me for something, I make sure I deliver. Is basically what it comes down to. Because I know that I'm not gonna be a book full of knowledge and give you, this person, and just give them like a whole, Jeopardy answer all about like one topic, and I'm not going to be somebody that you go to and, it's like, well, what's wrong with me? And I can like diagnose you. But I think when people come to me with mortgages, it's not even about the numbers. It's just more or less like, hey, this is what you want. This is what you're getting. I guide them from experience, but just, they're depending on me. And I think as a realtor or as a family member that refers, or even you and personally, that that if you're going to call Fred or the team, that it's just going to be done the right way. And I think that's what I can bring. Like public speaking is terrible for me because like, I don't know, I just can't think on the fly like that. If I play my sax, I can, I can do that, but like just thinking and pulling things out of the sky, I can't do that. But, it's probably what I can come up with at this point.
No,
Reliable.
what I'm hearing you say, you're reliable. And I think too, I've only known you a short period of time. We've had a couple of one-on-one interactions together. But I think it's coming through just in this conversation. You're very authentically you, right? And I do think that people, I mean, unless you're totally lying, which like kudos, that's amazing. But you seem extremely authentic, and I think people respond to that. Mark was talking about in one of the sales calls recently this idea of like culture fit with your referral partners, like meaning just culture might even be the wrong connotation a little bit, but it's like culture meaning the way you work and the way you see the world and the way you it's like I'm outgoing, I'm fun loving, but if I was a loan originator, what I'm not going to do is try to go after like the real estate agents who are like flash, like it's just not me, right? So if I tried to be like them, I'd be lying. Essentially what I want to look for is real estate agents who I work with, that I click with. And I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that's I could see you being very good at that.
Yeah, I can't. Well, no, I can't do that. So I can't be the guy that just goes out and just like is a face.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I like to have a fun time, and music introduced me to a lot of nights being out and having fun. But like,
sure.
Like, I just can't be the guy who's just going to go to, like, meeting, go out to the club and hang with realtors just to impress them, or clients, or just go to happy hours all the time. I mean, that's great, and I would like to do that. But then, like, I feel that a lot of those people that's what they do to get it in, and somebody else handles the stuff. Now, we have a team here, they handle it, but I'm very hands-on because, if I have a partnership with somebody and they send me business, refer them my way, I want to make sure they're getting Fred.
Right.
Now, some people might say, well, you're getting Fred's team, which is another way to look at it. 'Cause this is why, like, maybe that person goes out there and just doesn't really touch any business. They just have it come in. But I like to be hands-on with that and make sure that they're taken care of. So, like, I don't even know where we're going with this, but
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll lead us back. No.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense to me. People want to feel, again, we want to feel cared about. We want to feel, looked after. You want to know. I mean, those are real selling points. It is not surprising to me that
Well, I think I think it just
well.
popped up in my brain. Why? So
Do it.
let's just say somebody comes to Fred and says, "Oh, call Fred. He's good. His team's great. Blah 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 blah." And I call them for like 2 minutes. Oh yeah, okay. I'm going to pass you on to Natalia, assistant. And then Natalia handles everything, and then Vishal handles everything, and then Rachel, my processor, handles everything. But they never really talk to Fred. Like, as life goes on, like, they're not really going to remember Fred as much, but they might remember those people. But those people might be out by then doing something on their own. So as you build relationships, I think you need to make a staple and make it a actual relationship. Okay? That's how I see it. This way they remember what they're getting.
I think that's great. I think that's great advice, honestly, for any. And this kind of brings us. This brings us kind of the next question, or the next section is just. I love to get a sense from you and from everyone I speak with about the type of advice that you would give to someone starting out. I benefited greatly from having mentors in so I'm also in the arts. My background is acting and directing. I had mentors there. Business, I worked for a small business and really managed it. I had great mentors there teaching me kind of like an old school business philosophy. You show up, you work hard, you never show them that you always smile and never show them, like, someone asks you, how are things going with business? Oh my God, it's the best time you've ever had. You never show them you're bleeding, I guess would be the way to put it. You always have your hand, a hand in what's going on, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is great advice, I think, for people that are with the gig economy and with people starting their own businesses and with this shift in what work is. I think conversations like these are really important because you're out there, you've created your own business. What are some, if a 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid came up to you and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting into the mortgage industry," what type of advice would you give them? Would you say?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, that's a tough question. So when I started, I was young, early 20s, and I was in real estate class, oddly enough, and somebody said to me, "I'm just doing this because my boyfriend's a mortgage person and he makes a lot of money." And I'm like, what the hell's what mortgage? So and I got a job, and at that time, early 2000s, the economy was a different time back then. There was, brokers were huge. There was 21, 22, 23-year-olds making $200,000-$300,000 a year. And really all they were doing is just cold calling people, getting leads, paying for a bunch of leads, and dumping them into the pipeline and getting paid. I came in, I went to the Centex Corporation, which is at the time #1 home builder. It's now Pulte Homes. And I just went a lot, I guess it was, what was it back then? The job searching. It was Monster. I think Monster was a job
Monster,
search.
Sure.
Or Career Builder or something like that. And I took a job, and it wasn't a broker. It wasn't a call center. It was a home equity mortgage company. And they sent you out to Milwaukee for like 2 weeks. And we were out there and we learned the business. We learned what an interest rate was, how the interest rate changes things, how the loan process works. And I was taught the right way. So, you could go down 2 different ways. You could learn on the fly, or really learn what affects what. I appreciate that because I got to tell you, all the people that I met in the beginning that were brokers aren't in business anymore. I'm not saying that that's true in the case, but people that I knew in the very beginning that were making all that money, they're not in the business anymore. And it might just be because they were order takers. I don't want to be an order taker.
Right.
So I think that's what I learned. So if you want to be, an originator, I would say learn what you're doing, to take the class seriously, and then become a loan officer assistant. I would probably recommend that. This way you're kind of dealing with clients, and what affects what in the system. Right? So like if somebody says they want $20,000 more on a refinance or something like that, or they want to bring less cash to the table for a purchase, you can see that how it works,
Mm.
because it's all about experience, really. So I would hop onto a team.
It sounds like we have similar advice too, which is just, and we can tie it into, one of the things we talk a lot about here. I joked about it a little bit ago. Is I actually don't even know if I joked about it on the podcast or off of it. Doesn't matter. But this 5 levels of mastery, right? So everyone is working their way, really, in any industry, any career, but obviously we're talking loan originators when we're talking Princeton mortgage, where it's like, this is okay. Level 1, you're brand new to the business. You don't know how you get new business. You're just kind of like figuring it out. You're not really doing it as a full-time job per se. Maybe you are, and then you work. Before you know it, you do have a bit of a process, and on and on and on and on. And I think that one of the things that I've taken away from that really has spoken to me, going back to the mentor thing, is just find someone that you look up to, or that you can look up to is wrong. It doesn't have to be a personal thing, but that you can look at and go, that's what I want to be. Like I see my future. That's where I want to go.
So that's like how it was for me. Like that guy, Stu Miller. So he,
okay.
I worked with him for many, many years, and I joked last time I did something like this because of when I told him I was leaving, and he was angry. I said miserable. Maybe shouldn't have been mean, but I mean, I give everything to him as far as learning stuff. I like to him. He was always working, right? And he always, like, I was a kid that was running around. I was like, I have a gig tonight at 10 o'clock on a Thursday, and it was like 5 o'clock. I'm like, I'm out of here. And he like didn't give me a hard time, but it was also like I would probably think about that now with people that are on my team, where like, I'm in a different career mind now. So, like, I'm here. I know there's things going on in the world, but, like, I got shit to do. Wait, can I say that?
Right.
I guess I can say that, right?
So, I think so.
That extra call or that responsibility just to learn one more thing, read one more article, look at a different scenario for a borrower, run another scenario for a realtor, possibly. Like, that's stuff that, like, I learned from him because he was always the last one in. And what do they say about, like, quarterbacks, right? Where people... in sports, he's always the first one in, last one to leave, and it's kind of like where I'm at now, and I kind of like learned that from him. So like, I did learn that from him. So if you're coming into this, you just need to learn what's going on, and just dive in. Don't be half-assed.
And that's a great, and put your head down too, and just get it done. I think, going back to mentors, like my Ralph is his name. Just taught me everything I knew about business, and he would just go above and beyond. Like he really cared. It meant something to him. I see that. I hear that from you right now. I see that in you in terms of it's more than just, we have to do it this way because that's what the business needs. It's like, this is how you do it.
This is your own business.
This is what you do. This is your business, what you do.
There is luck.
This is how we do it.
There is luck involved, although Mark Gordon doesn't say luck. It's not luck. I believe there is some luck involved. Being in the right place at the right time. But the main point of it is, like, you control your own, if you want to get in the car and drive to a real estate office and talk to a realtor about something, if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. If you do it, you might get told to go home, but you also might be like, dude, I went to Temple. You went to Temple? Oh shit, you were the same time. And then it just creates something. But if you don't take the leap, you'll never know. Really,
and it's such a and look, I've been lucky enough to speak with so many loan originators.
I'm like the last one. I know, I get it. I'm the last one.
You're the last one. No, not even on here. I just mean in my in my position. I saved the best for last, obviously, and we are canceling the podcast now. This is the last episode. No, but so I know some people are a little bit more shy or I don't know. I don't want to feel awkward about it, and again, just like we said when we were talking sports, like literally all due respect to anyone that has a different way of viewing the world than I do. And that's just true. I recognize that it is not, I can walk into a room and just start talking to people. And if I look like an idiot, I just kind of walk out, and it doesn't bother me as much as like my wife, that I literally just described her like worst case scenario, right? Like it would kill her inside to do that. And so she avoids those situations. I don't think that people are different, but I do think that, you know, when I was running my own business for a while, like when I felt that feeling of stagnation or lock or block or whatever you want to call it, like I would just pick up the phone, Google a certain type of industry, and call a random business. Mm-hmm. Right. And it had nothing. I didn't think I would close them. Mm-hmm. It was just literally like, I must do something that's the opposite of how I'm currently feeling.
Dude, even if that's what I tell the team too. It's like, listen, if you're not doing anything, nothing's going to happen. If you call every loan that you closed last year, the year before, and going in that you know you're not going to get a deal out of it because the rate is already low, something is still going to come out of it. Somebody's still going to say, oh, good. My brother's, neighbor's, sister's, cousin's dog was going to buy a home. I'm so glad you called. Here, I'm going to give you their number right now. Give them a call. Something's going to happen from something. So if you just don't 100%. Do anything, nothing's going to happen. But if you stir the pot, something's going to come out, and it just goes from there. And like that's what I said. Like realtors. Talk to a lot of realtors, new realtors. You know, I hear people say, "Oh, real estate, you make so much money, 3% or 6% deal." Dude, I don't think people understand how tough it is to be a realtor. Like, I want to be a realtor. I love homes. My wife loves homes. We used to drive around, just look at homes when we were trying to get our daughter the nap in the car because we love homes. But like at this point in my life, leaving the house at Tuesday at 7:00, it go all over the place. It's just, I wouldn't want that. Maybe when my daughter's older, she's going to college, or she got her own life, and I can like slow down and just have the extra time. But like, I don't think anybody, I like to see HGTV. Right? People watch that show. Like, being a realtor, a successful realtor, is not easy at all. And
no, it's really, really not. I have a lot, multiple people in my family have been or are real estate agents, and you know.
Why don't you give them my number?
Yeah, and I'm gonna just send them a picture with your number on the back. But my one aunt is. You know, I remember I was always over her house. I remember, like, on the weekends, her, like, ushering us to a game and then giving us snacks as she's on the phone with a buyer, and then, like, bringing us to an open house where, like, my mom would meet and take us, and she would stand. Like, you can't tell me they're not hard. It's the same thing. People love to do that. They love to look at a job. People do it with teachers all the time. My wife is a former teacher. It's like, they get summers off or whatever. It's like, unless you know a teacher, unless you know a realtor, you don't know anything. Yeah. Like my wife would work from would get up at like 4 something and then work till 7 like every day. On Friday she would pass out. We'd have one day together on Saturday. Sunday she would start planning for the rest of the week. It was like that nonstop. Like if she didn't have summers off, like we wouldn't be married right now. Like it was, you know what I mean? And so it's just, I don't know. People are just I think human beings love to boil people down to like the most easy to digest thing and then just move on with their life. Like, nope, I know everything I need to know about a realtor. You know, I've seen $1 million listing.
Yeah,
I know what I need to know, you know? So it's just crazy. Well, listen, I don't want to take too much more of your time, and I really genuinely appreciate.
Ask me some questions. You know, any other questions? Let's go.
I do have a couple questions.
Let's go.
I'm glad to hear you say that. So, the first one is, you know, you're a musician, saxophone player. Do you see a world in which, like, older Fred Lahm is like no longer in this industry and is like playing clubs again and just like living that life?
Yeah, I mean, so my buddies and I, I've been playing music since I was 3, and then like, you know, went to Temple for music, and then I'm not great, you know, I think I get by, and so, and I make music, right? But I'll never be like a recording artist, but I think I do well enough in my own mind just to do what's needed, right? And, you know, we were in cover bands growing up and everything like that. And you know, Baby came and it takes a back seat right now. But even my buddies now that are still playing out, you know, my buddy Phil, it's like, we live up here in Bucks County, and he's like, I'm trying, you know, he's got 2 kids. He's like, we booked a gig in June, just up to two of us, acoustic gig, sax and guitar. And he's like, oh, why don't we just like do like a tour, like everywhere up here, like breweries and shit like that. And, like we'll just do that rather than go like the clubs at night, you know, like,
do it.
And I'm like, that's like perfect-ish now. My daughter's a little bit older now.
Yeah.
And like the drive down to Philly, the late night club. I mean, it's great being on stage. It's fun, you know, when you play and people like it and they're singing along, and it's just like, it's a high, natural high, but there's also something you know, about just hanging with your bud and just playing
100%.
tunes for money and fresh beer.
And the cool thing about a brewery is, you know, that's like, breweries are oddly kid friendly.
Yeah.
Like you can have
so weird.
the family, which is so weird because they're not bars.
Yep.
And it has a different vibe to it.
Oh, it's just homemade. It's homemade stuff.
Yeah,
they do
we're just
right
like
here.
hanging out. There's kids over there playing. It's fine. We're all just hanging out. Yeah, I think so that's awesome. You have to let me know when that happens. I'll definitely come and watch you.
Yeah, I'll be playing again. I mean, it's you know, sometimes your life changes a little
part
bit.
Of you.
So.
It does. No, I was just thinking about that too because I was always directing something. Like even when I had my own business and was busy, I always had some kind of play that I was working on.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's funny because for me it was always just I love the work of like sitting with a bunch of actors and getting it up. Like I almost don't even care about the performance. And so I know I said to my wife maybe 2 nights ago, I was like, in the next year or so, like almost like a heads up, like I'm gonna have to do this again.
Yeah,
like,
I think we were planning on doing. Like I said something to my wife, like, listen, I'm not saying every weekend or 2 nights a week, but like twice a month. Maybe I need to get back out there and do. You know, if I sit in with the guys down at Xfinity Live, which is in Philly, and you know, I think we were on that. Like, okay, this is what it is. And then COVID hit and everything got shut down. It's like, listen. Everybody has their different things, but right now I don't think it's for me with a young daughter to go and sit in a club for 4 hours, 5 hours with 3,000 people. It's probably just not the greatest thing to put myself into right now. So, you know, it is what it is.
I totally respect that point of view, and
my own opinion.
Yeah, right. And luckily, we're going to be. I think we're starting to whatever your belief.
No, there's another variant. I think. Checking it right now.
Well, no, that's what I meant. We'll have
clicks
a little time
in about 16 minutes. Yeah.
Omicron is whoever's coming up with the names. That's a much better name.
I was reading it. It's Omicron. Oh, the hell! It's Omicron something, and it's like it's a slicker version of it. I'm like, come on, dude.
There's some guy I gotta find. I'll try to link to him. There's some guy that has been doing this series of videos where he plays all the different variants, and he also personifies all the different vaccines, and it's just great. Like he does it, you know, like COVID's very like, you know, Jason Statham like vibes, and then Omicron's like this like crazy like, you know, slobbering at the mouth like you know, it's great.
Yeah, and I'm not taking like this is real. Like people are, you know. God bless anybody that's I mean, it is definitely real, but like I think we just need to get our shit in order first and get the right facts out there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this could spin off into a new podcast.
Yes.
My second thing I wanted to hit with you, definitely. The one conversation, real conversation we had an excellent talk. Just, you know, we're both fairly new dads, younger families. So a little bit of like, you know, to steal from Bill Simmons, like a little family corner or parent corner. You know, what has surprised you the most about being a dad?
Wow.
I know that's deep.
I would say, well, first of all, the love, right? So like, you know, when Alex, my wife, was engaged, you know, you're feeling bad. We don't know. Dudes don't know. Like, yeah, oh my God, we're going to be a dad, you know, but it doesn't click in. Like when a female gets pregnant, like they initially have that, like it's in their bloodstream. They already have this bond. But I think for me, like that moment when it came out, when she came out, that like completely changed. Like, you know, you dated people growing up, then you get married, you love your wife, and you know it's like, all right, listen, like ups, downs, left and right, but this is the person I'm supposed to be with, and you do that, and that's love, right? But when that thing pops out, right, and you're like. It's just it's a weird feeling, like just like
a punch in the face.
Yeah, nothing else. Yeah. Like, everything else matters, but like it's just like no matter what type of feeling.
You know what's funny is, and I don't think I'll get in trouble with this because I think it's just kind of known as like I fell in love with my wife. Like I grew in love with my wife. I liked her and I thought she was great. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm in love with you. Like I knew, and it was amazing. I got thunderstruck by my kids.
Nice.
Like it's a whole different
thing.
It's a different thing, and it's funny because it's like, so my son, my big like, do you have one kid or two?
One kid. Yeah.
My big thing was how different they are. Was like shocking me more than anything. And everyone know, oh, of course your kids are different, whatever. How instantly different they were.
Well,
is what,
I think they made, like, other than the love thing though, I think it was just like seeing her grow. Like, so, going to school, we don't see her all day long now that she's in kindergarten and like, but like, you just like, she's going to learn and she's smart. I mean, she's like, just seeing that part of it. And then as time passes, right? So yesterday I was looking through some pictures of the day before and like you fly through your phone, and you're looking for a picture from, and you find it and you see a video and you're like, what year was this? It's like 3 years ago. Holy, and that's crazy. But yeah, definitely the love thing, and definitely like seeing them learn. Like, remember the first time she went to dance class and she went out and she was actually hanging with kids because COVID shut things down, obviously. And she went and hanging with kids and she was like enjoying that. I would think that like was like interesting to see. So
my son has been a nonstop, and my daughter have been a nonstop with that feeling of like, God, you're smart. Like my son. Was outside, and this is actually like if I could give not to you but unsolicited advice to like anyone that's like gonna be a parent, whatever, is like watch your like instant gut reaction sometimes, because there was one time we were at a party, we were outside, and he's taking but we're on like a nice patio or whatever, and he's taking a bottle of water and he's just pouring it on the ground, right? And my gut was to go, hey buddy, stop, but I kind of like stopped myself. He's just pouring it and then stopping and watching, pouring and stopping and watching. And I go, what are you doing, man? And he goes, water goes downhill. And I was like, I'm like ready to cry. Like, I'm like, that's so, it does. You're right. It always does. He goes, it goes downhill. It goes that way. And it goes downhill. Where does it go to? Right. And it just so happened one of the people there was like a environmental engineer, like some were like very specifically, and she goes, where do you think it goes? And he goes, I think it keeps going and it goes, and it's like, and he basically said, I think it goes to the ocean. Like, he didn't know how to communicate that, but he basically got like hit it out of the park, right? And he goes, to go back uphill, it probably needs help. And like now this lady's talking to him about like pumps and like, but I'm like, you don't think about how deep they're thinking until it just kind of smacks you in the face. My daughter is the same way. Like, she can't talk, she can't, I mean, she is getting there, but she's only 13 months old, and like there'll be times where I'm just like, just literally like jaw hits the floor when I realize like, oh, you're so smart, like you've picked up on so much so quickly. And I don't know if you ever plan on having other kids, but I'll say that the wildest thing is watching them become friends, like actual friends, nothing to do with me, like defending each other.
How about
like friends?
How about when you one thing that affected me about this I don't know, this is all time, it's the same topic.
No.
So when I see the love thing, I was trying to explain to you before, if you saw a kid fall, this is crazy, or I'm showing a sensitive side, Fred, here of the Lone Slayer. Like if I see a movie now or show and a kid's in pain, I immediately picture my daughter, and like that's so weird to me now. Like, and I just I get freaked out by it.
No, but I can't take might trigger you right now, but like I can't take watching a thing where like the kid loses a parent and they're young. Oh, dude, God, because to me.
Even the parent losing a kid, like I was like,
that's even. I can't even. No,
what I would even do.
That's a whole other. That's like that's literally to not go dark with it. That to me would be like, it would be like, hey, what happened to that guy Dan Cooley? Oh, he lives like on a mountain now.
He eats like wheatgrass 3 times a day, and that's what he does.
He's a monk now. He's actually bald, and he's like a full-on monk in Tibet.
But that's stuff that you didn't realize. before kids.
You know it intellectually. My uncle put it perfectly because I said to him, I go, he has 5 kids. He has a big family. But I was like, Shawnee, what, give me advice, man. Like whatever. He's like, there's nothing I can tell you. He's like, you're going to call me when you know. Yeah. Like, it was like very like cryptic. Yeah. And as soon as my wife gave birth, not as soon as, that'd be weird. But 2 days later, I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. He's like, it's wild, right? He's like, it's all different now, buddy. Good luck, So.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah. I also get furious when I meet, this is the last one, another one. I was in a store and there was like a 4-year-old like just dancing around doing something. And he knocked something over, and his dad like yelled at him and cursed, and I had to leave the store. Like I wanted to go hurt that guy. Like
like you want to discipline them, like teach them what's wrong, but you don't like embarrass them. Like
no, he was like what the F is the matter with you at the top of his lungs?
Oh.
And everyone's looking, and this poor little 4 or 5-year-old boy. I'm like, I wanted to just like spear him to the ground, 4. So I had to leave.
He's 4.
A 4-year-old doesn't need to hear what the blank is the matter with you because they don't. Now they're going to go, what is the matter with me?
Yeah, right.
My dad told me something's the matter with me. Oh, my goodness. All right. Fred Lahm, this has been one of the best deep dives ever.
Stop it.
No, it has. We've truly dove deep. This is not.
I didn't
the
cry.
Show is. I should have kept pushing so you guys should have pulled a full Oprah. Just had you sobbing. All right, so Fred, where can people find you if they're looking for a loan in the great states of New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Florida, or Virginia?
No New York. My cell phone.
Did I say New York?
Yeah, my cell phone, my email, my website, whatever they need, man. What do you need? Do you need the numbers? Do you need the digits?
Are you comfortable giving out your
215-266-9572. It's a cell phone number.
And you just go to loanslayer.org. It's
just fred.princetonmortgage.com. That's it.
Fred.princetonmortgage.com. You heard his number. Not New York. I apologize. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Florida, and Virginia. If you're looking for New York, call. He probably knows someone. Still call him. He'll help you out. He'll get you in touch with somebody.
I don't like the Mets. I don't like the Giants.
All right, don't call him.
Yeah.
Call me and I'll find someone for you. Email me. Fred, honestly, it's been such a pleasure. Again, Fred is absolutely just been killing it, and it's because of everything you heard on this podcast. Any of you who are listening, because he just really cares about people, and he's always himself. And I genuinely appreciate that about you. So I hope you have a good one, man.
See you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Peace.